Hey guys, welcome back. Today I've got another Necron painting video for you, and this time it is Ctan Shard of the Void Dragon. And I'm going to be trying to paint him up in the same cool blue steel colour that I did in my previous dry brushing Necron video. And I'm going to be sticking to basic techniques like the dry brushing and stippling, also with a little bit of basic layering as well, to see if the technique can be applied to a bigger, more centrepiece model of the army. So let's get into it. Firstly, I'm going to start to build up all of the colour for the main body and the wings of the model. And to do that, I'm going to be using the exact same technique I used in my previous video, where I progressively stipple on colours from dark to light to build up some nice volumes for these areas. And to do that, I'll start off by using Citadel Skavenblight Dinge, followed by Army Painter Night Sky, Runic Cobalt, Augur Blue, and Brigade Grey. And I'll be using various types and sizes of dry brush depending on the area of the model I'm working on. And the first two colours, the Skavenblight Dinge and the Night Sky, get applied pretty much all over the model from all angles, trying to cover about 90 to 95% of the previous layer. And as I switch to the final three colours, which are a lot lighter, I'll start to only apply this to the top facing areas and reduce the amount of paint that's on the brush and move to a more dry brushing motion rather than a stippling motion. And by the time I get to the final colour, which is the Brigade Grey, I'll just be dry brushing this on very lightly to all of the top raised surfaces on the model. Next up, I'm going to do pretty much exactly the same thing with all of the rocks floating around the model, and also on the base of the model as well. Only this time I'm going to be using Army Painter deep grey, uniform grey and ash grey. Just doing a rough dry brush over all of these areas, getting progressively lighter as we move to the brighter colours. Next, I'm going to go back to the same Army Painter Deep Grey and just use this to give a light dry brush to all of the edges of the spines of the tail, just hitting all of the raised edges, which is going to give them a quick edge highlight. I then gave the staff of the weapon a quick coat of Army Painter gun metal. Next up, I'm going to start the shading process, and to do that I'm going to be using the Villainy Inks Ichor of the Damned, and I'm just going to be using this undiluted, and I'm just going to be applying this to all of the main body of the model, the wings and all of the rocks as well. And a big thank you to the commenter last week who pointed out that you can use AK Interactive Matte Thinner to mix in with these enamel washes to take away any of the shine that they produce. I have ordered myself a bottle, however it's not arrived yet, so I'm just going to be applying this without it and using some matte varnish at the end. I then let that sit for around 15 minutes before going in with some makeup sponges to remove all of the excess pigment from all of the raised surfaces and highlight areas. And this should add some really nice depth to the model without taking away anything from the highlights. And once that had fully dried, it was time to tackle all of the lightning bolts that are on the wings and surrounding the model. And to do that, I'm going to firstly base coat all of these areas in Bootstrap Brown and Terrestrial Titan, which are really dark brown and purple colours, with the idea being that I want the lightning bolts to transition from a magenta colour to a red colour and then to an orange colour. So I'm going to base coat all the areas that I want to be magenta and red with the purple Terrestrial Titan, and I'm going to base coat all of the areas I want orange with the Bootstrap Brown. Next I applied all of the midtones, and in my case that was going to be Diabolic Plum, Basilisk Red and Molten Lava. And these are the darkest colours in the magenta, cool red and orange triads, with the idea being that I was going to use the lighter colours later on to highlight these areas. And you just want to get a nice even coat of this across all of the base coat, which will likely take 2 passes with each colour. And once I've got a nice solid coat of the midtones, I'm then going to go in with a few of the lighter colours in each one of the magenta, cool red and orange triad, and just start to apply some highlights to all of the upwards facing surfaces, covering a smaller and smaller area as I get progressively lighter in colour. And you just want to pay particular focus to all of the bends in the lightning and make sure you get a nice highlight on the top surface on each one of these bends. And then after applying this same technique to all of the lightning across all of the model, I then applied the same base coat of Bootstrap Brown and Lava Orange to all of the blades on the weapon and the tail of the model as well. And from there I just Worked my way up the orange triad using a dry brush and mostly downward strokes. Started to apply highlights to all of these blades on the sword and the tail. And for this dry brush application, I just used a very light dry brush for each of the triad colours and just built up the highlights slowly using multiple passes with the dry brush. And after the blades on the weapons are finished, the model is complete. And all in all, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. The blue armour colour works really well on the model, and the vibrant colours in the lightning and the weapon really make the model pop. And I think I may try this armour technique out on a larger force or combat patrol box, just to see how the cool blue metallic armour works across a larger scale force. But that'll just have to get added to my ever-growing list of future projects. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on that video or any of my other future projects. And I'll catch you in the next one.